Hello, and today we're going to talk about using ezfocus on our mobile app. The first thing that we want to talk about is the size of the screen. Um, Whenever you're considering using the web version versus the app version, you need to ask yourself how easy is what I'm trying to do. If it's something easy like getting into an account, logging a call, loading a photo, marking an objective as completed, or maybe checking about sales for the last few weeks or something like that, the app is going to be the fastest and easiest way to do that. If you're looking for a more top level and in-depth analysis, you might consider using the web version, just because the app is designed for simplicity. Okay? You can just download the app right from the App Store and launch it and log in with the same username and password that you have for the web. What we're going to do is break this video up into two parts. We're going to cover the three most important aspects of the app in the first part, and then all the other functionality in the second part. So the three most important things are the search bars, the My Stores section, and an accounts page. Let's start by talking about the search bars. The account search bar is still the fastest way to get into any accounts page. You can just type the number of the LCBO account or the retail store license private number. You can type the name of the account or LCBO store or government store, whatever have you. You can type the address, or you can type your name, city, all the same stuff, and it's still the quickest way to get into an accounts page in the app. Just click on the result that you want, takes you right down to the stores page. When it comes to the product search bar, the result that you type in is going to return the ability for you to pull a top stores report. And it'll also list the number of alerts that are relevant to that CSPC in the market. But being able to take a top stores report around with you is incredibly powerful. If you ever land at a screen in our app where the screen is blank like this, likely the most common reason is because you haven't selected an account type yet or a sales channel. And then, after you do that for the first time, our app will do that for you automatically moving forward. The menu up here on the right-hand side behind the chevron will show us that we need to choose an account type. So in this case, let's choose top LCBO stores. And I'm interested in all the information that I have selected here. It's going to show me things like inventory. It's going to show me things like my sales, category ranking, banner chain, all that handy stuff. And just like a top stores report in the web, if I click on any of these accounts, it'll help me drill right down to that accounts page. The other things that are available for you on the landing screen include some of the widgets that are available in the web as well. And we remember some of these widgets, like the alerts widget. You can choose anything that's gone from a listing status to a delisting status, or if you're in other markets, for example, everybody would have a general list out of stock alert available. And then you've got things like objectives, follow-ups, and summary by brand, just in a really handy widget for you right on your landing screen. If you want to control what widgets are on your landing screen, or if you want to control other things, hit the menu button and go to settings. Settings is going to let you choose what dashboard widgets are available for you, as well as remind you about a couple of other things as well. Let's start with the My Store section. The My Store section will load for you in two different modes, directory mode and analysis mode. Directory mode here, pretty self-explanatory. You can use the search bar to pull up anything like LCBO store numbers or addresses or the names of places that you want. And they are also sorted alphabetically for you, so if you need to just scroll quickly like any other iPhone or Apple contacts page, you can do that very quickly by just putting your finger on the strip of alphabetics and scrolling it. Clicking on any one of your contacts will of course drill you down to that store or accounts page where you can edit the account details. And we'll get to a stores page in just a second. The analysis mode of your My Stores section loads all of the accounts we just saw, but it loads them into an analysis table versus just a directory. And this is the moment when I want to talk about settings and menus. So as we all know in ezfocus web, there's always lots of handy drop-down bars across the top and a preferences button and a few other things that we use to control what's in our tables. In the app, to preserve precious space on the screen, we use a menu that's hidden. So if you ever see a chevron like this up in the right-hand corner of your screen on your app, that means that there's a menu hiding somewhere. And there's no refresh button because after you open the menu and make any changes to anything, after you hit that chevron button again, it's going to automatically update the table with what you had. Okay? So after you finish selecting everything that you want as your filters, then all you got to do is click the chevron again and the table will refresh and resize. And if you ever want to refresh, all you got to do is put your finger on the screen and pull down. So now I can see a clear view of some sales in my territory. I can view things by banner. I can sort by banner. I can sort by the class of store. And remember, that's agent class, not LCBO class. And I can see when my visits were last and how many visits I make, that kind of thing. When we're ready, we can choose a store. So let's choose store number 252 here. All I do is click on either the store number or the store's name, and it drills me right into the store's page. Up in the top right-hand corner, when you arrive on a store's page, you're going to hit the edit button if you want to change any of the store's details. There's going to be some details that you can't edit, like certain information that comes automatically from the liquor board in this case, but there will definitely be information that you can change. Definitely things like generic notes, the call info, and most importantly, of course, is things like segmentation and whether or not this is an LCBO Wines of the World store, or it services the TBS, what LCBO region. All of these types of CRM segmentation fields are at your disposal. And when you save the details, it uploads the content to the web. As you'll see across the top here are all the different functions and features that you should recognize from ezfocus Web that are available at the app level as well. So very quick way to make a visit. As a reminder, please, if ezfocus's app ever asks you for any kind of permissions, please do enable them. It's stuff like being able to add follow-ups and visits to your calendar or upload photographs and things like that. So you can add a visit very quickly on a day from the app just by going, I'm in the store, it's a standard call, or am I making a phone or an email conversation? Don't necessarily need the time unless your organization says that you do. What's the date that I'm visiting? Today's date is good. And the note was spoke about monthly priorities. And then I save the visit, and the visit is logged. It uploaded in the web instantaneously and becomes part of my detail call report for the month. The next tabs across the top are some of the other great ones that you would recognize. Things like My Opportunities, which is a gap report of the store that you're standing in. My Objectives, to be able to understand what are the active objectives in that account, as well as marking things as planned, completed, or rejected, or clicking this area right here to be able to load things like a note or a photograph. From here, if I wanted to add a photo, I would just click this icon for a camera, and then when I do, I would just tell my iPhone that I either want to use the photos from my gallery or ones that I'm going to take right now. And then after I create the photo file, I hit save, and it's uploaded to my objective right away. We know the alerts widget is very handy from the home screen as well. The alerts widget does filter right down to the store level in Ontario as well, and several other markets for generalists out of stock product reports. So great use for having that type of functionality right at the store level. Being able to log a follow-up. Follow-ups are really useful because they can sync to the web and the app as well. If I hit add here and leave myself a follow-up, don't forget that I also have the option to click here and it adds an Outlook, a Microsoft Outlook or an iCalendar event for me as a follow-up reminder. So if I'm somebody who has multiple follow-ups, but some are more important than another, I can create Outlook reminders for the most important ones. Or if I have a follow-up that requires another teammate or a merchandiser to be involved in the follow-up, I can create that Microsoft Outlook event and share that with another member of my team. Probably the one that people love the most, obviously, is the My Products tab. The My Products tab is where you go for all of the data that comes from the jurisdiction or liquor board regarding your products in that account. So things like distribution statuses and everything would fall under retail info. So I've opened my menu and then I click on retail info, and retail info is going to load things like listing statuses, inventory, promo tags if that data exists. Otherwise, I can stick to things like weekly sales or sales per period or rolling period sales. And again, I can filter all of the products in my view based on my suppliers, my brands, or just look at my speculative listings or general listings, those kinds of things, all in the same table. Just like in ezfocus Web, if you need to rank anything, just click on the top of any one of the column headers. So you would click on the year-to-date column here, for example, and it would rank things top to bottom, and it gives you the subtotals and totals in the band at the front, at the top. The next tab is one that we have a separate video on. This is the My Products Listed tab. So this is the opportunity for you to come in and do things like nominate if you have very special circumstances for any brands in your accounts. Just drag left and look for more info. There's an entirely separate video on the use of the My Products Listed tab in the iOS environment, and I encourage everybody to take a look at it as well. The next tab is category analysis. Category analysis is a very useful section in the app when you're on the go, especially if you're in a market or a sales channel where this kind of information is available. This is allowing you to look at categories of the store that you're standing in, and then drill down to lists of top SKUs of the store that you're standing in based on that category. So if I'm looking at this and I think to myself, this is amazing, and I really want to see the ones that I'm participating in the most, you'll see that there's sales for the total industry and then our company here on the right-hand side. So if I see myself in the California Red category here, I'm not doing as well as the entire category. Well, then I can click on the category, it highlights blue, and then I click on the eye. Just like we're keeping an eye out for the chevron, we're always keeping an eye out for this little eye. The red eye means that there's another layer of data underneath this one that we see that we can drill down to. So after we highlight which category we want, we can click the little red eye, and that'll take us down to the SKU level of the California Red category inside of this account. And the same applies for vodka or beer or coolers or whatever have you, in any market across the country where we have the data. Your brands, of course, are highlighted for your ease, and you can rank based on top performers, or you can sort things based on inventory, listing statuses, promos, and all that fun stuff. The next tab that we want to cover is the Documents tab. So this is for loading things like flyers in some of the wholesale markets, or on-premise menus, or anything else that's useful. Any type of media that gets loaded here also gets into the detailed call report documents management section that your marketing team can use to feed back to suppliers or discuss marketing strategies. Always very good. A few minutes ago, we talked about objectives. Just as a reminder, there's also a separate section for achievements. So achievements are all the things that you do above and beyond your regular assigned objectives from the business. I went in with the purpose of getting an objective done, but ended up getting something else done on top of that. Here's where we get to add that quickly just by doing add, and it's the same process as an objective. And the process is the same. It would just be just like the objective. I would click the icon here and I'd nominate what kind of photo I wanted and leave a note, and then boom, hit save, and it's loaded right to my profile. The last few tabs here, we've got competitive activities. This is if you walk into an on-premise account or a retail account and your competitors are doing something that you want your team, management, marketing to know about, you can capture that photo or activity here the same way we would capture an objective or an achievement and load it, and it would load into detailed call and documents management for your team as well. So here's where you would add contacts for the location if they're beyond the generic main contact of the location, for in this case somebody who deals with inventory or staff picks, that kind of thing. The next tab is the dates to remember. Dates to remember is very handy because all you have to do is tick check marks for the best days to visit, best days to get an order, or best days that the location receives deliveries. Final tab is surveys, which is still new, so not always surveys are loaded. In this case, there's not one for this type of location. But if your team is loading surveys in the web, that's where they would show up here for this account. Okay, that covers the most important three things, and please see the second part of this video for the rest of the app's functionality.